So today I am in Ridgeway because I am trying to figure out some of my ancestry. My uncle Chris Anger and his wife Diane, my aunt, have been doing research with our family history for the past several years, and they've uncovered some really cool stuff. So I'm in Ridgeway right here, and we discovered that this would be my fifth great-grandfather, great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, John Charles Anger, and this is the house where he would have lived in. So here's the house here. It's just a little log cabin. This house was owned by the Anger family, and then it was later bought by the Teal family. So the historical significance of the Fenian War is that if it had never happened, then Canada probably wouldn't be a country today, because what happened was it was a bunch of guys who were of Irish descent wanting to take over Canada because they thought they could sort of barter with the British with it. And Canadians were sort of insecure and thought, is Britain really able to help us? They're so far away. So they decided they wanted to become a country, and so they did in 1867. So that's kind of neat. And although my family didn't own the house at the point that the war was happening, they were still around in the area. So now we're going to go check out their other house that they had. We're going to see this little red brick house, and this red brick house was owned by my great-great-great-great-grandfather. That's fourth great. So the log cabin we saw, this is now his kid's house, this red brick house. Still involved with the Fenian War, but I guess what happened was that they, some of the wounded soldiers, they brought them to the back of this house, and it was a field hospital and all that. And apparently, there's, on the brick, you can, see, what is it?
Bullet holes.
Like bullet holes.
On the end of the house.
Bullet holes on the end of the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy stuff. So, yeah. So there you go. Let's check out this house. So this is Ridge Road, and apparently this is where the Fenians came up from to attack. They came up from this road. And, yeah. And then there's the house. Right there. Right here, there's bullet holes in the house and initials carved from soldiers. And then in the back, this would be the shed where the field hospital would have been. So the guy who owned the log cabin, that was John Charles Sr. So this is his grave right there. He lived to be 77 years old, and we believe that he was in the War of 1812. He died in 1813. And although that seems like a really old age to be in a war, well, do we have a kicker for you? This is his wife, Abigail, her grave right there, which you can't see too well. The other camera I was using is no longer working. Could be ghosts. It just stopped working for no good reason. So anyway, so the real kicker we wanted to tell you about was Gerg. Gerg Anger, he's the furthest in the line that we've gotten so far. And so he would be my sixth great-grandfather. He'd be your fifth great-grandfather. This is my mom, by the way. So with Gerg, okay, so there was a guy who owned the log cabin, right? He was the
Gerg's son.
Yep, that was Gerg's son, and the guy who owned the brick house was Gerg's grandson. So here's the thing about Gerg, is he was in the War of 1812, and he was 91 years old when he was in the War of 1812. That's according to military records. So what the heck? We need to know more about him. He's not buried in this cemetery that we just saw here. We don't know where he's buried, so that's still dun 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 for another time. It'll be our epic conclusion. But I think what is really cool about Gerg is he lived in a time where there was no antibiotics, no anesthetic, and this guy lived to be 91 years old and was kicking ass in War of 1812. So that just says we come from good stock, right? So yeah. So this has been our little tour of Fort Erie. And hopefully we can update you with more in the future.